Hello, everyone. This is Howard Dare. Thanks for stopping by. So, I want to give you an overview of the real situation facing men and boys. But let me say happy Friday, everybody. Congratulations. You've made it to the end of another week. I know that a lot of you didn't think you would make it. I know I didn't think I would. I didn't think I'd be here able to speak to you ever. And yet, here I am. And here you are. So, small blessings, small miracles, things to be grateful for, an attitude of gratitude. Now, let me give you the situation. The statistics concerning men and boys are alarming, but you need to know these things in order to understand where we are going. This isn't just a diversion or a waste of time. This is an overview of a situation that we are in that you will very likely have to face and deal with. So it's important that you get the big picture. Now, did you know, and I think you did, that men commit suicide at a rate of 4 to 1 compared to women? That's an alarming statistic, isn't it? We could break this down by age, but I don't want to go that far into it. As I speak about some of the other issues facing men, I think you'll get an idea as to where this trend is heading. And that's the important part, that you understand the dynamics at work and at play within the situation. I don't want men just reacting to the situation. I want them taking intelligent steps in the right direction for the right reasons. Now, let's also talk about addiction. I'm very much involved in this aspect of the situation. I come in contact with a lot of people. This is what they're dealing with. Now, national statistics suggest that men are addicted at a rate of 2 to 1 to the women. But I can tell you that from within the drug treatment programs, it's more like 10 to 1. All right? There's 10 men for every 1 woman in these programs. Consider the incarceration rates, how more likely the men are to be charged, processed, and incarcerated. Well, this number sits, according to national averages, at 13 to 1. It's probably higher than that. Let's consider joblessness. They say that men are about 10% more likely to have a job than a woman. But this number doesn't really bear out the truth of the situation. There are more men in the workplace. Men are required to have a job, much more so than women. Like there's no such thing as a dependent man. I'm sorry. If you're a dependent and you're male, you're something else. Congratulations. Enjoy. No, a better number to represent this is that women are 36% more likely to be hired for any given job. And this doesn't even account for race or sexual preference. Did you know that many of your popular companies, Apple to name one, they refuse to hire white or Asian men or to allow them into their entrepreneurial training programs? So most of you belong to the only group that it is actually legal and socially acceptable to be prejudiced against. I've covered why that is and what's happening in some of my previous videos. You might want to watch them so that you have an idea as to what's coming your way. Let's talk about college enrollment now, because these numbers will give you some insight as to the job opportunities and employment opportunities. That's life opportunities for men. They say, and who knows who they are, that the women are currently at about a 10% clip over men into college enrollment. But that's not the real number. The real number is actually over 15%. Now, what's interesting about this number is that this number is greater than the gap between men and women in the 1960s, when, as a society and a culture, we decided it was important to help the women. Now, men exist at a greater gap than prompted us to help the women. Do you think that any of our college campuses or any of our schools, given this fact, are now going to start helping the men? I don't even need to go into some of the other statistics around this one for you to get an idea as to what's going on. So these other numbers, you see how they're driven by this idea of education, that it's actually a proxy for how well we take care of men, for how much we care about men. These are just some of the issues that the men and boys are facing. Now, let me tell you what we're doing about it, what society and culture is doing about it. Did you get that? Did you understand that? Oh, I'm sorry. Maybe you didn't hear me. Let me say it again. Ready? Here it is. We're doing nothing. As a matter of fact, we're actually driving the situations and circumstances that are driving these numbers. The gap is widening. So at no time has it been more important for society to have advocacy for men. I'll tell you a story. When I was first going through our justice system, our court system, I thought to myself, this will give me some great insight to help the men. This is where the action is. This is the insight that a man needs in order to speak and address these issues. Not anyway. Of course, after a year or so, I just wanted out of the trap. Like I had learned enough. 5 years on, I'm a very different man than I was, with very different concerns. Do you want to help men? Look, I'll be honest with you. Most of the men don't even want to help themselves. Most of the men just want to turn a blind eye to this situation and lose themselves in distractions and their emotions. And I understand. Had I not been forced myself to face and confront these issues, I too would want to turn away and to be distracted. I understand. But for some of you, this is no longer possible. The situation has become so bad that you must step up in your own life. You must examine these issues as a man, as an adult, rationally, in order to navigate the path through the forest and the way out of the forest. If you can do this, you can be a genuine leader of men to lead them out of this terrible situation that they are facing. Why should you do this? If it's not happening to you, why should you care? Well, one reason that I can give you is that it probably is going to happen to you. And it is happening to you. It's just so far happening to you on a level that you can turn a blind eye. You don't want to look at it. You don't want to see it. To do so is painful. To do so begs the question of why. In your individual life, this becomes very important. But in the mind of a consumer, it's not that important. You can simply distract yourself and not think about it. It's very interesting. I am an advocate for men. I am an advocate for man. And I got to tell you, it makes the men very angry. It makes them very upset. I'm like the father that they hate. One of the best for a man is simply to have a job. This is becoming very difficult. As I said, women are 36% more likely to be hired. And these numbers are approximations. But to those of you who wish to turn away, I'm sure you can think of scenarios that might explain this situation. You see, you're a little too smart to be able to completely turn away. Because when you do, the truth of the situation, like a dagger in the mind, sits in the background and weaves its web. And these thoughts, which you cannot escape, or which many men will try desperately to escape, often through drugs, addiction, automatic compulsive behavior, sweeping emotional behavior, being caught up in the moment. What kind of an advocate could a man be in that situation? What kind of a leader can he be in that situation with that mindset? He can't be, all right? It's your life. I'm not here to entertain you. I'm not here to be popular. I'm not here to make money. I'm here to save lives. Now, in order to do that, I need you back in your life, doing a real job, not distracting yourself, not wasting time. And I don't mean working for someone else. I mean doing something that actually matters, stepping up. Now, to begin with, you're going to be alone. I'm sorry. The other men, they will condemn you for trying to face reality and then deal with the situation. Do you understand why? It's because they themselves don't wish to face it. You would think, I just wanted to give you an overview of the situation that we're facing. I want you to have some idea as to some of the things you can do to forestall this in your own life and in the lives of other men that you may or may not care about. The first step in avoiding the trap is to be aware of the trap. Concerning these trends, okay, we are not winning this war. I'll be honest with you. Somewhere between 2050 and 2060, it's going to be over. Unless we can get some boots on the ground and get your head out of the clouds. Get you back in the fight, back in the saddle. But it's your choice. It's your call. I would appreciate the support. I would appreciate the company. But I understand. Another reason why this is important is because this is the path to strength, freedom, effectiveness, agency. You don't care? You will when it happens to you. Let us take these steps now. Let us do these things now so that it doesn't happen to you. And the boy hates for saying this to him. You see, it isn't just the sons and the daughters turned against their family. It's everybody turned against the men. And it's the other men turned against the man. And it is the man himself turned against himself. This is the byproduct of a consumer culture, of a female mindset. Can I count on you? Do I have any soldiers? Will anybody fight for men? Will anyone speak out for men? I don't mean getting angry. I don't mean getting all worked up. I mean facing the real situation. You don't have to, but you could choose to. And if you'll choose to step into the difficult place and man your post, we can win this thing. For you, for me, for all men. But if the men stay home in their basements, consuming the poison of a consumer female society, do you know what they'll do? They'll turn on themselves. They'll turn on their fellow men. For what is there to do when you live in Neverland, when you live in a make-believe place of unicorn-topia? What do you think is going on with your social justice warriors screaming into the camera? What do you think that is? What do you think that's an expression of? Do you think it's an expression of their strength and their effectiveness and their glorious future? Or do you think it's the betrayal, the shame, the guilt? How do they look in the mirror? They do it by dyeing their hair purple, piercing their own skin, marking their own face, because it's theirs, and we're all equal, and we're all the same, even though we're not all the same, and we do completely different things. I'm hoping that this will wake you up. There are those who don't know and know that they don't know. Teach them. There are those who know but don't know that they know. Wake them. There are those who don't know and don't care that they don't know. Avoid them. And there are those who know and know that they know. That's all. Who are you dealing with? Who are you? Where is your identity? What is it that you do? What is it that you care about? Where is your identity? Where is your meaning and purpose? What do you care about? What do you focus on? What do you work on? Do you focus on hate? Do you focus on excuses? Do you focus on resentment? Because that's where I see the men going. The distractions of a consumer society, of a female consumer society, a desperate search for identity, for meaning and purpose, led by their emotions. And they don't know where the emotions come from. So it's compulsion. They're good consumers. Hey, there's a great side to being a consumer. But if it takes over, then it's just addiction, then it's just weakness. This is good medicine. I would like to see the trend shift to men back on track, to men becoming participants in their own life, for men becoming participants in a greater world that they can shape. I know it doesn't seem that way to you right now. Can you be an advocate for men? Well, you could start by being an advocate for yourself. I don't know exactly what that would look like, but I know it's not putting your head in the sand and diverting yourself with foolish emotions. I've got plenty of those, and there's plenty of places for you if that's what you want to do. 99% of our society will cater to you on that. Will you turn away and turn back to yourself? Will you take back your identity? Will you face the harsh reality of the situation and then respond and deal appropriately with it? This is the question that I put to you. This is the call to action that I issue to you, to become an advocate for yourself, for your future, and by doing so, for other men. Anyway, congratulations on making it to another Friday. Have a great weekend. Let me know what you think about this in the comments section below, and join me again, Howard Dare. Thank you, everyone.